Cicero once said, "Ignorance of history is to remain forever a child." Perhaps you've heard it said that when we fail to remember history, we are doomed to repeat it. And I can't help but wonder if we are doing that right now. This is merely my thinking. Feel free to disagree. Your mileage may vary. It seems to me that our society isn't just changing a little bit. You know, we went from Perry Como to Elvis, then the Beatles, then the Stones, and then, well, you had Air Supply tossed in there in the 80s. That's a little bit confusing. And then you move yourself into the 90s, and, you know, come to think of it, that was kind of a lost decade, wasn't it? And then today, what are we back to? We're back to the 70s again, but the music changes, the times, the hairstyles, they change. That's pretty typical. But I'm talking about more than fashions. It seems to me that our thinking, our philosophy, our religion, and our morality and our values are fundamentally changing, and I don't think they are leading to a very good destination. Let me take you to the 1600s in Paris. This is the Palace of Versailles. This took some smarts. The men who built this, the Frenchmen of the day, were not troglodytes. They were plenty smart, and I suspect they, too, imagined, there's no way, we're too sophisticated. Our country can never get flipped on its head. And yet, July 14th, 1789, that's exactly what happened with the storming of the Bastille and the beginning of the Reign of Terror. They never imagined this could happen in their country, just like we can't imagine it could happen in our country. Let us go now to the 18th century, late 18th century, 1789, and let's take a look at some of the statistics, the results of the storming of the Bastille and the Reign of Terror. Here are some stats for you. 40,000 people lost their noggins. Literally! And when I say literally, unlike teenagers, I mean literally. 300,000 were publicly executed by firings, not pink slips. They got shot, drowning, and other lovely ways to die. Many millions died in the 25 years of war and unrest. Now that happened starting, give or take, July 14th, 1789, but they did not get there in a day. It's not like a bunch of French people woke up and had their coffee and their croissant and decided, hey, let's start a reign of terror. No, there were things fomenting for many, many years. And thanks to historian Otto Scott and Dr. Peter Hammond, I would like to share with you some of the things that were going on in the country of France that precipitated the storming of the Bastille and the Reign of Terror. And if we look at some of these, we might end up going, yikes, that looks a little bit like America. Here's what France looked like in 1788. It was extremely anti-God. It was the left versus the right. We still use these political slogans today. You know, the liberals are on the left, the conservatives are on the right. Do you know where we actually got that phrase? It was actually because of the French Revolution. Those who were fighting against the aristocrats and against the monarchy were so anti-God, they understood that the Bible said that those on the right hand of God will inherit eternal life, those on the left will be sent away to everlasting hellfire, and they happily embraced the idea that they were on the left hand of God. And so they called themselves the left, and those who were more traditional and conservative and Christian were on the right. Why? They were that anti-God. It was that anti-church. They were vehemently anti-Bible. Ask yourself the question, does it feel like that today in the US of A? I look at the statistics, the nuns are going up, and I don't mean the women in the habits or Sally Field flying all over the country. I'm talking about nuns, N-O-N-E-S, increasing like never before. People who say, I don't believe in anything. In other words, they're either an atheist or an agnostic. Have you seen the screeds that have come out of the modern day atheists? The anger that they have toward Christians? Does that sound a little bit like France to you? It does to me. The string, it's connected all the way to the stick. He goes for the Wretched hoodie because he loves them. Down comes the box. The stick pulls the string on my desk, pulling the cup. I know he's here. He's in the box. You, behind the couch. Don't let him get away. Got him! Yes. Party's over. One. Yes.